In the evening hours of December 22nd, 1799, a 22-year-old wife-to-be disappeared. 11 days later, her lifeless body would be discovered in a well owned by the Manhattan Company. Her fiancé, Levi Weeks, was charged with the murder after a witness stated that they had seen them together just a short while before the disappearance. Weeks' brother was a wealthy man and assembled the first ever dream team of lawyers in American history to defend his brother. Two of the lawyers chosen for this case would be the Manhattan Company's owner, Aaron Burr, and former U.S. Secretary of Treasury, Alexander Hamilton. The trial would be a media circus and the first ever recorded murder trial in the United States. Hamilton, Burr, and the rest of the defense team worked together triumphantly, and after only 5 minutes of deliberation from the jury, were awarded a not guilty verdict. Hamilton and Burr's relationship had been a bit strained over the years prior to this moment. However, their future would result in the killing of a founding father. Though they both served in the Continental Army against the British in the Revolutionary War, it was probably 1782 when Aaron Burr first met Alexander Hamilton. Both men were on the rise to become high-profile lawyers in New York. Over the next few years, their natural differences in upbringing and politics led to a bit of a friendly rivalry between the two. Burr was born into a prominent family. His parents died young and he was raised by his uncle. At age 13, he was admitted into Princeton. By 16, he had graduated and began studying abroad. When the war broke out, he paused his legal studies to join the Continental Army. Hamilton was born in Nevis, an island 274 miles away from Puerto Rico. Unable to get accepted into college because of his family status, he self-taught and immigrated to New York. As soon as his formal studies began, the Revolutionary War broke out, and he too put his studies on hold to join the Continental Army. Years after the infancy of their law careers, both men's horizon began to widen even further. Alexander Hamilton was the nation's first Secretary of Treasury under President George Washington, and Aaron Burr defeated Philip Schuyler in a race for the New York Senate. Not only was Philip Schuyler a Federalist, a party created by Hamilton, he was also Hamilton's father-in-law. This event is said to initiate ill will into their once friendly but highly competitive political and professional rivalry. Aaron Burr was one of the few Democratic Republicans running for president against incumbent Federalist John Adams in 1800. On the cusp of the election, Aaron Burr published a private letter Hamilton wrote that was highly critical of fellow Federalist John Adams. The document was called The Public Conduct and Character of John Adams Esquire, President of the United States, and was meant to stay within a small circulation amongst Federalists. Its publication was a great embarrassment to Hamilton and a huge blow to the Federalist Party. It would end all possibility of an amicable relationship between Hamilton and Burr. In the twilight years of the country, the vice presidency was given to the individual who came in second in the presidential election. Through a political error or through Burr's political manipulation, he tied with Thomas Jefferson, who led the Democratic-Republican Party with an equal amount of electoral votes. Alexander Hamilton was outspoken against Burr, and when the winner of the tie was decided by Congress, Hamilton swayed the votes of some Federalists to ensure Burr would not become the president. Thomas Jefferson won the election and ostracized the newly elected Vice President, Aaron Burr, believing perhaps Burr tried to take the presidency from under him. Hamilton would later justify his actions by saying, "I feel it is a religious duty to oppose his career." Due to the mistrust on the events surrounding the 1800 election, Burr understood that Jefferson would not allow him to run as a potential vice president. Burr decided to make a lateral shift from vice president to governor of New York. In this election, he went up against fellow Democratic-Republican Party member Morgan Lewis. With the downfall of the Federalist Party, Hamilton used his last bit of political sway to make sure Burr lost this election. After the defeat, Burr became overcome with bitterness. Hamilton openly mocked Burr, Unable to handle the extreme amount of anger, Burr wrote to Hamilton demanding an explanation for his political assassination. Hamilton responded with more insults, and in Burr's mind, there was no room for recourse. Incensed, Burr challenged Hamilton to an affair of honor, or a duel. Hamilton, no stranger to duels, accepted. Affairs of honor were illegal at the time, but many thought it was a necessary way to defend something the law couldn't protect: honor. Most duels resulted in a resolution before any violence. It was an act of challenging someone that let them know you're willing to pay a price to settle a grievance. Both men showed up with a second person, as was customary, to ensure to keep order in the affairs. Hamilton also showed up with a doctor. What happened next is a bit of a mystery. Hamilton chose the weapon, put on his glasses, and shot. Hamilton's second said that Hamilton shot in the air and missed on purpose to avoid actual bloodshed. However, Burr's second man claimed that Hamilton merely missed. Either way, unharmed from the shot, Burr lined up his gun and fired, fatally shooting Founding Father Alexander Hamilton through his liver into his spine. Burr killed Hamilton to regain his honor. Hamilton accepted the challenge because it was worth it to end Burr's career. And though Hamilton died, the American people turned on Burr. He lost all political influence and was arrested. And though he was never convicted, his career was over. And that's how history happened. Please take time to subscribe to History Happened to get notifications for our newest videos. Follow us on Facebook for daily historical posts, and leave suggestions in the comments below. We are only human, so if you find any inaccuracies in any of our videos, please reach out to us and let us know. We hope we made you love history even more, or hate history even less. Either way, have a historic day.